Hi, Luke here from Technicamps, running through a quick video for the tasks for session 10. This is going to be actually probably for session 11. It's going to be all about lists. So let's start with task 10.1. For this task, unless indicated otherwise, I'll just zoom in a bit so it's easy to see. For this task, unless indicated otherwise, when you print out values, you should print out a suitable label beforehand so that you can identify in the output what you've printed. For example, if you print the variable z, then the output could be z colon 10.5. Cool. Or if you print the length of a list, my list, then the output could be length of my list colon 7. That's fine. For this task, you should perform the following steps in a single Python program. So step 1, or part A, create a list x of integers containing the following numbers: 8, 4, 5, 21, 7, 9, 18, 2, and 100. Okay, so let's start that off. File, new file. X equals square bracket 8 forward 5 8 comma 4 comma 5 comma 21 7 9 21 comma 7 comma 9 comma 18 to 100 18 comma 2 comma 100 close square bracket. Okay, so that gets our list. That's part A done. Print the number of items in the list by using the appropriate function. So print len x. And because we're doing this in a nice way, it told us that we should probably print out what it is. So the length of the list x, and then len x. Okay. Print the first item in the list. Print, just the first. Print the first item in the list, sure. Print x1, x0, because we're talking about the 0th index being the first element in the list. And that's going to be x0. There you go. That should work, hopefully. So that's part C. Print the last item in the list. Do not hard code the list index. Okay, so print. Let's write it like this: x %d colon colon. I just want to put a space here to make it look nicer when it prints. Percent. Could they be floats? For now, they're just going to be integers, so we'll just call it %d, close quotation mark, percent, and then we're going to have len x. So that's going to fill in this minus 1, because the last index is the length of the list minus 1, not just the length of the list. And then %d is actually going to be x of len x minus 1. Okay, so let's file save that, and let's just run this just to check so far that it's doing what we want. So this is task 10.1. Run module. Oh, invalid syntax, so I've made a mistake somewhere. I need a comma here, probably, and a comma there. Run module. There we go. So the length of the list is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Cool. The element in the 0th position is 8. Cool. And the element in the 8th position should be 100, and it is. And it's printing it out quite nicely. I'm just going to change the formatting slightly like this to make it look a little prettier. Okay, so that's up to what, part C done? Oh, part D done. Okay, cool. Part E, append the value 42 to the end of the list. Okay, x dot append 42. Right. Cool. Insert the value 101 into the list so that it is at index 6. X dot insert into position 6, or index 6. Yeah, and then the value we're inserting is 101. Okay. Delete the second item in the list. Okay, second item is index 0, index 1. There we go. So we're going to pop out index 1. So that's those bits done. Use a for loop to print all the values in the list without labels, just the values in the list. Okay. For I in range len x, print xi. Okay, so let's give that a go. File, save, run module. Okay, so what did we do to our list? We added 42 at the end, so 42 should be the last number we printed out. Cool. We inserted into the sixth position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So instead, so where 18 currently is, we'd have 101, and then we'd have 18, then 2, then 100. So 101, 18, 2, 100. Cool. 42 on the end, nice. And then we popped out the element at index 1, so we popped out the 4. So we shouldn't have a 4 on our list, and we don't. We have 8, 5. Cool. That seems good to me. Part I, use a for loop to print all the values in the list with labels to indicate the index of each element. For example, okay, that's fine. For I in range len x, print x %d. So it's going to kind of follow this format that we have at the top there. %d, close quotation marks, and then what we're actually doing, we're calling I and xi. Okay, so it's going to go a 0 in here and call x0, a 1 in here, x1, and so on. Let's just give that a quick run, just to see if it works. Okay, so then we get x0 is a, x1, all the way up to, cool, that seems good. Use a for loop to print all the values in the list in reverse order with labels to indicate the index of each element. Okay, so for I in range. So we want to start at the end of the list, but the last index in the list, the last index of the list is the length of the list minus 1. We want to go all the way down to 0. And we want to count down backwards. Okay, so let's, and then we're going to just copy this line, paste that line in there, file, save, run module, and give that a go. Oh, okay, so we've got 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but we haven't printed out x0 because remember, we go up to but do not include this last index. So I actually need to set it to minus 1. And then that should include the 0th element. So file, save, run module. There we go, cool. And it prints out 8 as well. Okay, seems good to me. That's part J. Cool, and we're on to task 10.2. So this task involves modifying task 10.1. So you might want to copy your source code for task 10.1 into a new file, save it as 10.2, fine. Replace part A, which was creating our list X, with code which allows the user to enter their own values to fill a list. Assume the user only enters integers and will type 0 to indicate they wish to stop entering numbers. Check that each of the parts B to J still work correctly. Note you may need to modify F and G so that they only perform the operations when the list is long enough. Okay, cool. So file, save as. I'm going to say this is 10.2, and then we're going to start editing it. So we want to, instead of having a list given to us, we're going to start with an empty list. X equals the empty list, user input equals int input, please enter an integer or 0 to stop. Okay, while user input does not equal 0, x dot append user input, and then we'll get them to give us a new input as well. Okay, So that should get our user input in, and then it said just be careful with parts F and G. Okay, so they were to if just checking about the length of the list. If the length of X is greater than or equal to 7, so it has 7 elements in it, which means we can get to index 6. Then I can insert something into index 6. That's fine. Otherwise, the list would be too short and let's say, I only have 4 elements in my list, and then I'm like, oh, I'll put something in index 6. That's not going to make any sense, right? And similarly, if len x is greater than or equal to 2, I should be able to delete the element in index 1. Okay. File, save, run module. Okay, so please enter an integer or 0 to stop. So let's enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then enter 0, and it should move on. So I just got to scroll to the right part. 1 is the first element in our list, 9 is the last element in our list. We then removed the second element, which is the 2. We inserted into index 6 the value 101, and we appended 42 to the end. Cool. So I'm going to run this one more time, run module, but this time I'm just going to enter an empty list and see what happens. Okay, we have a problem if I enter the empty list because I can't actually call this index because it's empty. Ooh, the length of the list is 0. Okay, cool. So maybe I need to check here. I'll put another if statement in. If len x is greater than 0, print this. Okay, and then this is going to maybe be messy as well, but let's see. Run module. Let's just enter straight away 0, so my list has no elements. Yeah, same thing here, list index out of range, so let's indent that as well. So it only runs if I enter something into the list. Run module. There we go. And then this time the only thing I do is actually append something, which is fine. Okay, cool, that seems all good to me. So that was task 10.2. Task 10.3. Write a program which prompts and allows the user to enter a date in the format dd month. The program should then print this date in a more English format. For example, the date 0504-2013 should be printed as 5th of April 2013. Okay. The program must use a pre-programmed list, i.e. a form of reference table to calculate the name of each month. For example, initialize the list with the names of each month, then the 10th entry in the list counting from 0 will be November. Okay. This program can be written without using any if statements and is very short. Okay. So file, new file. So the tip they're giving us is to have a list called months, I guess, and define it to have the elements January, February. This is where you get to see all of my spelling mistakes when I try and spell months. March, April, May, June, July, August, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, capital S, September, October, comma, November, comma, December, close bracket. Okay. So the user enters a date in the format dd month, year. We're going to take out some format of that and then print it in a more English readable format. Okay, cool. So user input equals input, because it's just going to be coming in as a string. Please enter the date in dd/mm/yyyyyy format. There we go. Oh, okay, so then day equals user input. Okay, so this is string slicing. We did this before. We want to start from the 0th and we want to go up to the 1, 0, 1, 2, but not including 2. Index position of the user input month equals user input. So that would be 2, so we're starting from 3 and going up to about not including 5. And then year is user input. We're starting from, this is 5, we're starting from 6 and going up to the end of the entry. Just leave it blank like that. Okay, and then print. The date is percent D. Sure, why not? Percent D. Percent S. Percent D. And then what are those? Those are day, months of month plus 1. So if I said it's the 5th month, what index is that? That's May, which is index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so month minus 1, comma, year. So what this should do is it will go into our list. So if I said, oh, it's the 1st month, that's January, right? But January is index 0, so I need to take 1 away from this value that I get given and then look that index up. So for file, run module, oh, I need to save it first. Okay, we're going to save it as task 10.3. I think this is 10.3. Save it. Okay, please enter a date. So 0, what did their example be? It was 0, 0504 2013. 05/04/2013. Unsupported types for string and int. Okay. Oh, yes, I need to turn this into an integer if I'm going to take some value away from it rather than it being a string. This is also going to be an integer. And hey, let's make the day an integer as well. That makes things easier. Okay, file, save, run module. So 05/04/2013 gives me the date is 5th of April 2013. Okay, cool. So what I had maybe wrong there was I had month minus 1. Well, month was at that point in time a string rather than a number, and you can't take away an integer from a string. Okay, so just turn these all into integers. Okay, so this program can be written without any if statements, and it's very short. Cool, I've done that. Once you've done this, go back and reflect on task 4.5, which you consider easier to implement, which is more efficient for the computer to run. So let's look at task 4.5. Is it 4.5? Oh, 5.4 maybe. Write a program which asks the user for a date, DDD. Oh, that's the next day. Ah, here we go. 5.2. Write a program which prompts and allows the user to enter a date in DDMMYYY. The program should then print this date in a more human readable. For this task, you'll need to pull out substrings, which we've just done. You'll then convert the month component to an integer. Once it's an integer, you can test if it's equal to 1, 2. Okay, so what this program will do is it's going to do a lot of if statements, and that's a little bit annoying. It's not difficult to implement. We would have done it when we did task 5.2. But for a computer, it's kind of annoying for it to just have to keep making these checks and evaluating conditions. Whereas with this, version here with this idea of storing something in memory and then just looking it up really quickly, that's much faster and much more efficient. So this is a more efficient way of writing the same program, which essentially does the same thing. It's just looking something up from memory is typically going to be much faster than having to do a bunch of comparisons, which task 5.2 did. There are many ways. Yeah, cool. This is an important note. There are many ways to write a program to achieve a single goal, right? Change the output to a nicer day number, i.e. first, second, third, fourth. Again, this can be done with a pre-programmed hard-coded list. Okay. Sure, why not? Let's put that in. So let's have, what do we want to call this? I don't know what those I call them firsts and stuff like that. So let's call it add-ons equals. So it's going to be st, comma, nd, comma, rd, comma, th. Right. Yeah, th. And then, because I'm being lazy, let's do it this way. Let's do that, and then for I in range, there are most 31 days in a month. So how many times do I need to do this? I need to do it until my list has 31 elements in it. It currently has 3 elements in it, so I need to do it 28 times. Add-ons dot append the string th. 4th, 5th, 6th. Right, okay, cool. And then I can be like this and be sneaky. Percent s. And in here, I'm going to call add-ons of day minus 1. Okay, so if it's the first day, or if day is 1, then it's going to go, find the position 0 index of add-ons and add it on to the end, and that's st. Command S, function 5. Let's run this. So let's try again. So we said 05/04/2013. The date is 5 April. Okay, so maybe you could make the format slightly nicer without some spaces. File, run module. Okay, let's see. 05/04/2013. The date is the 5th of April. That's nice. Let's run it again. Let's put in a first. So 01/01/2020. The date is the 1st of January. Very nice. Run module. We're just going to test second and third as well. 02/02/03/50/50. Why not? 2nd of March, and then we'll check the third. Run module. The 3rd of May, 2019. Cool. So that's a nice little way of appending stuff, and then instead of having to go through and add th on manually every time, I've just done it in a for loop because I didn't want to have to copy and paste th out 28 times. So it's just been super annoying. Okay. Cool. So that was task 10.3. Let's look at task 10.4. Write a Python program that allows the user to enter a sequence of city names. They should be prompted for one city name at a time. The user can type the empty string to indicate they are done entering cities. Your program should then print out in alphabetical order the cities that the user typed in. Cool. So we're going to do this in a nice way. New file. So we're going to have city list equals the empty list. User input equals input. Please enter a city name or nothing, I guess. /blank /empty string to exit. And then we'll put a little colon there just to make it nicely formatted. While user input does not equal the empty string, city list dot append user input. Okay, and then we're just going to copy and paste that line and put it in here. And then when they finished, we need to city list dot sort, and then we need to print for I in range len city list print city list of I. Okay, let's give that a go. File, save. This is going to be 10.4. Task 10.4. 0.4. There we go. Save. Run module. Okay, so first city: Swansea, Cardiff, London, Bath, Edinburgh, Warwick, Bristol, Southampton. Okay, and then we're finished, so we're just going to enter nothing. And then it sorted them for us and printed them out. Bath, Bristol, Cardiff, Edinburgh, London, Southampton, Swansea, Warwick. Okay, cool. Pretty simple. You know, you could have used a manual sorting method here, but why would you bother? Just you call the sort method on the list and then print everything out. Okay, that was 10.4. So then we're up to the challenge task 10.5. Modify task 10.4. So that instead of just entering city names, you also enter the population of the city in millions. For example, the input might look like city name London population, city name Swansea population. You should then output in reverse order to the order input both the name of the city and the population size. You can place tuples in a list. You could have city name population as a form of record in this. Okay, so file, save as, 10.5. Okay. So we're going to get the user to enter 2 values. The first thing they're going to enter is the name of the city, and then if it's not a bad city name, i.e. they're allowed to enter it, they not like put in the empty string, user, we'll call this city name. So here we're going to go city name, and here we're going to go city name. Then we're going to go population equals input. Please enter the population of. We'll do it in a fancy name. Fancy way %s. Colon, close brackets, and then percent city name. Okay, and then we're going to append the tuple city name, comma, population. There we go. Very good. We're not going to, does it ask us to sort it anymore? For example, the input might look like da-da-da-da. You should then output in reverse order to the order input both the name of the city and the population size. Okay. So for I in range len city list -1, comma, we're going all the way back to the start and we're going down in steps of -1. Print city name colon percent s. Yeah, that's fine. Where we're taking the we're taking the city name from index I, but we're actually taking the 0th element of that. And I think that's how you call it from a tuple. We'll have to check. It might be external to that. So we're just going to run this and check. So file, save, run module. Okay, so let's say we go with London. Oh, not user input anymore, it's called city name. We go, file, save, run module. Okay, so let's go with London. Please enter the population of London, 8.3. So we enter an empty string. Here we go, yeah, we've got a mistake here. Unsupported operands for type list. Sorry, this needs to not be inside the bracket, it needs to be outside the bracket. Okay. File, save, run module. London, 8.3, empty string. Here we go. The int object is not subscriptable. Okay, so this is going to select the city name of this, and we want to take the 0th element of city name. Let's try that. The 0th element of the tuple which has been entered. Hopefully that works. Run module. London 8.3. No, string index out of range. Okay, so I quickly paused the video and ran through looking for mistakes in my code, and I realized that actually I was calling the wrong thing here. I was calling city name, which is just a single element. It's not a list. I should have been calling city list. So, you know, make sure you're gonna be making errors all the time. Don't worry about it. So if I file, save, run module here, and type in something like London and then 8.3, it's going to print out London 8.3 like that as a tuple. Now I don't want it to print out the whole tuple. I just want it to print out the first element of that tuple, and I think I do it like this. So file, save, run module. So let's try it again. London 8.3. There we go. City name London. Perfect. So what I can do is I can do it like this. %s and then %, like that. It's nice. And then print city. Is it city population? Population, just flat population. Population %f point just f, maybe that'll be fine. Comma %city list. So we want the ith entry of city list, but we will now want the numerical value that's afterwards. File, save, run module. Nope, invalid syntax. We don't need the commas anymore. Save, run module. Okay, so let's go with London, and it has a population of 8.3 million, and Cardiff has a population of, let's say, 1 million. And Swansea, which has a population of, let's say, 0.3 million, and Bath, which has a population of 0.08 million, and then the empty string. No, must be a real number, not string. It's because we haven't converted any of these things into integers, so int. There we go. Actually, we don't want them to be integers, we want them to be floats. There we go. File, save, run module, and try that again. So we said London 8.3, we said Cardiff 1, we said Swansea 0.3, we said Bath 0.08, and then we do the empty string. There we go. Okay, so we might want to go through and change the formatting a little bit here on our floats being printed out, but otherwise that seems good, and it seems to be printing them in reverse order, which is what we were asked for. Hopefully, not only did that demonstrate how you can solve the problem, but also the fact that, you know, people are going to make mistakes. Read the error codes as you make mistakes, right? This one must be a real number, not string, instantly indicated that there was an issue here, and the issue was that I was using a float specifier, but I was also trying to print out a string, which doesn't make sense. So then I knew that there was something wrong with my the value in the one position of the tuple, which was being stored in the city list, and I realized that I hadn't converted my population into a floating point number. Okay, these errors happen a lot of the time, and that's why we always test our code. But also being able to find those errors and fix them is also is important. So that's kind of the end of this series of tasks, and also probably the end of the sessions that we've had with you. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope it's been very useful. I hope it's indicated all of the issues that people have when they program, and hopefully given you some tips on improving. Anyway, thank you very much for attending. If you need anything, feel free to contact Technicamps at technicamps.com.